Hi there everyone, it is the D-Man here, and I thought I would share with you something I've been working on, a secret little project. At this point, mainly for fun, although it is definitely something I'd like to see completed someday, depending on how much time I get to spend on it, which I will talk about in more detail later on in the video. But in any case, today's video is about this hobby project I started. It is a game that I'm making myself. Well, I'm making it myself in terms of most of the assets in the game, and of course I'm writing all the code and everything else myself as well. But this game is, I don't want to say based, because it's not really based on a game, but it's inspired by a game that was released in 1991 for the NES by Konami. And the name of the game was Monster in My Pocket. Now, I am a huge fan of the original game, and I am a huge fan of the original Monster in My Pocket toys. I guess you can call them toys that were made before the game came out. So the game was actually released after the toys had been out for a year or two. Now, the toys were released as figurines, rubber monsters, in several series. The first series had 48 figurines, the second series had 24 figurines, and then there was an extremely rare third series that was not available for sale, but you could obtain the figurines that made up the series. There were only 9 of them, by the way, in various ways, and one of the ways was by buying the game for the NES. So the game actually shipped with one of those very rare 9 figurines that were part of the third series. In any case, as an adult, I actually managed to obtain on eBay the entire first and second series. So in any case, guys, I thought I'd show you this game I've started working on. I guess you could call it a fan game, something at this point that I'm working on as a hobby. And what I've done here is I've managed to obtain the sprites, or rather the sprite sheets from the original game, for the monsters in the game itself. As you can see, I have already gotten as far as reanimating them, and I've also written enough code to be able to let me just show you 1 second, to be able to walk around, to jump, and even do some cool stuff like this. Now, I have many ideas for this game. As I said, I'm really looking forward to continue working on it. That would be a lot easier if I could somehow perhaps monetize either. You see, I don't know whether I'm allowed to monetize the game itself, since I am using some of the sprites from the original game, specifically the monster sprites themselves, which is, for the purposes of this game, is what I want, because I want it to look and feel and play similarly to the original game. But having said that, I mean, for me to be able to, put enough time into it to be able to finish it within a reasonable amount of time, I would have to monetize it in some way. Now I'm thinking maybe Patreon. I don't know whether that is a safe option. I've heard some pretty bad stories about Patreon, but I do have a Patreon account which I never used before. So let me know in the comments if you think that is a good idea, if anyone would be interested in seeing something like this coming to fruition, and then I will consider what to set as a target in order to complete at least the first 8 levels, because I want to make this game big. I want to make it fun. I don't want it to be too easy to complete, and I'm thinking of making at least maybe 6, but preferably 8 levels for the first release. Obviously, if we do it via Patreon, I would be willing to share all kinds of, let's say, builds of the game. In other words, I'd be willing to share different versions of the game as I update it, and that would actually be cool because then you guys could let me know what you think needs work, if you identify any problems, any glitches in the game, and you would also, of course, be welcome to make suggestions, which I will implement insofar as they are not too much in conflict with the general idea that I have for the game. But I mean, that would be cool. Then we could essentially, work on it together. Now, having said all that, this is obviously just a very, very simple sample. These tiles, which I made myself using my Samsung Galaxy Tab S6, fantastic device. Let me know if you want to know more about it. And I hand drew them, by the way. And also the sprites which you see, again, I said, the monsters themselves, the monster characters, and these life up jars, which you can see down here with a heart in them, right over there. I don't know if you can see my mouse in this recording, my mouse cursor, but those are from the original game. I have many ideas for this game. I'm thinking of implementing, it would be more work obviously, but I'm thinking of implementing maybe a power-up system which did not exist in the original game. I don't know whether I really want to do that. On the one hand, I think, yes, that would be cool. It would give you something more to do in the game. On the other hand, I really like the simplicity of the original game. Where you basically have one attack move, which is you can essentially, hit your enemies. I had some ideas, like maybe you could jump on top of them. As you can see, nothing happens when you jump on top of them at this point, because I haven't really decided what to do with that yet. And maybe also collecting certain power-ups which would give you more moves, maybe, but then I would have to consider, what the advantage of those moves would be, whether it be just giving you more power or perhaps more speed, being able to run faster and stuff like that. All depends on how things go, and it depends to a very large extent on what you guys would like to see for this game. So let me know in the comments below. Even email me. I will leave my email in the description area below. And I'm really excited to hear what you guys think of a game like this coming to fruition. I would like to make this game big. I want to make it fun. And, if any of you would like to see a fan-made project like this come to reality, let me know. And another thing is, if any of you know anything specific. Now look, I know there are a lot of articles and everybody has an opinion about whether you can or cannot even release, to some extent, games that include any assets from existing games. What the laws are on that, whether it is allowed to monetize it in any way, even if it is not being sold. There are all kinds of different opinions on that. Let me know what you think. Is it a good idea? If it turns out that, Konami gets upset because I'm using some of the assets from the original game and they start sending me cease and desist letters, well, then obviously I'd have to do this in some other way. But it would be unfortunate if I am receiving, let's say, funding for the game from you guys or from fans that want to see the project completed, and then that happens. So look, if that were to happen, there are many options. I could make a very similar game with my own monster assets. It would not be quite the same feel. I could do that. It will also be a lot more work though. So a lot of things to consider. Let me know what you think. As I said, I don't think I will be allowed to sell the game. But in order for me to be able to work on it and keep updating you guys on YouTube, well, for that I would have to be able to somehow fund myself, keep myself, keep my rent paid and so on. Anyway, okay, enough about that. I hope you guys are interested in this game, so let me know what you think, and looking forward to updating you again soon. This is Don, the developer, and bye-bye for now.